from the MCPLive.tv studios, located in downtown Conroe, it's the Conroe Art League, live.
Hello and welcome to Cal Live, the show that introduces you one by one to the artists of the Conroe Art League. My name is Jennifer Clausen, and I am pleased to be your host. Today I'm speaking with Cal artist and photographer, Michael Barley. Welcome, and thank you for taking the time to share your story on Cal Live.
Thank you, Jennifer. It's really terrific to be here because I've never done this before ever in my life, and so it's interesting but not particularly pleasant to be on this side of the camera. It's a new world for me, doing fine art or attempting to, and so appreciate the opportunity to talk a little bit about it.
Sure, I understand you're not a native Texan, but
I
have
am
made
not.
this home.
No, I'm not a native Texan, but I do have a passport. I grew up in South Carolina and went to school in South Carolina, went to University of South Carolina. Started my photography career on some degree there, and moved on to Dallas and opened a studio there. Did working in the commercial world, advertising photography, and spent about 15 years there, and then moved to New Mexico and spent a good reasonable amount of time, about 18, 20 years there, and then now I'm back in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I did the desert, and I'm good. So it's nice to be back here and living in Montgomery. It's wonderful, and we live next to the lake, and not on it, but next to it. And so we're having a good time here.
Yes, it is a lovely area up here in Montgomery County.
Yeah.
And so you began your photographic studies in college, is that what I understand?
That's correct. After we spoke earlier, I recall that actually we went on a family vacation, and my aunt had a Kodak box camera, that one of those you look down for. I knew nothing about photography, so I said, "Can I take the photographs?" And I knew nothing, and I'd never done it before, so I didn't know anything about photography. But apparently, I had some sense of better composition than what most family photographs were. So I shot all the things, and everybody was very excited. So then I got excited. Then it went away, then there was. Some of you remember that there was a thing that was always in the magazine. Draw this picture of Abraham Lincoln, and you can go to this mail order art school.
Yes.
So I did that, and one day this guy shows up at my parents' door when I was in like 10th grade and said, "We want him to come to our school," whatever. And so I never did it, but it was.
You always had some art festering in there.
Festering is a good word.
Yes.
It still is. So that was it, and after that it was college and on from there, and I had the opportunity to work for the university for several years, and that was really good. Met a lot of people, learned a lot of things there. So anyway.
And so it has been a passion that festered, then turned into a career that you had livelihood, and now you're back at it at a different approach?
That's a good way of saying it. Yeah, I always wanted to make a living at it. When I struggled. I'd gone back to school and spent a number of years trying to get my degree because I was financing myself without, financial help. And so, I was ready to start making some money, and that didn't come automatically, but that's where it started. And I opened the studio, and that went well, and went to another one, and so on. So it's been quite a ride.
And throughout your career or even your education, were there famous photographers that influenced your work?
Yes. While I was working at the University of South Carolina, I had gotten a part-time job working in the lab, with printing and so on and so forth, and doing some copy work and whatever. And so they came to me one day and said, "We have a special guest that's coming to campus, and we need someone that can show them around campus and so on and so forth, tell them about the university." And I said, "Okay, well, who is it?" And I said, "Well, it's Ansel Adams." And I said, well, I'm not qualified, I'm just a greenhorn. And so anyway, it turns out I did that and walked with him and his assistant around the university, and had an evening having a few beers with him and getting to pick his brain a little bit, and it was an incredible thing. So it was life-changing in terms of, I think, yeah, I'll just continue to follow this. It's not going to be easy, but I'll keep doing it. So anyway, that was nice.
So it wasn't one of those stories where you don't want to meet your mentors or someone you look up to because he did offer so much time and
yeah,
advice?
he was terrific and very open, but he's told these stories many times in the past, and so he didn't mind telling them again. And so no, it was very technical in some regards. He was a very technical guy, but he had a good eye and obviously, and knew how to market himself.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, so that, and then other influences. I always liked the portrait work of Arnold Newman, and very famous photographer. He's deceased now, and of course another one that's deceased is Richard Avedon. Had an opportunity to meet him and see his work, big exhibit, and so that was nice. And he was very, as it turned out, didn't have any relationship with him, but it turned out the best thing I heard about Avedon was he worked feverishly his entire career in fashion industry and so on and so forth. And when he passed away on a shoot at 81 years old. I said, that's the ticket. If you love it, keep doing it. So
Yeah, if you love it, it's not work too.
well, it's both. So.
And so I took a look at both of their works, and something that comes to mind to me is almost Americana, something rich about our country's history or our country's path. Is that important to you historically, or has it become more important with some of the work you've done?
The condition of people in terms of photographing people is important to me, and it's obviously evolved a lot from what you saw there with Arnold Newman. He photographed a lot of artists, and so he could do whatever he wanted. They were, it's in the 40s and the 50s, and it was crazy, and so they were just an open book. They didn't care if they had wrinkles or whatever. It was that's what he was looking for, whatever the thing that made them distinct to themselves. And the thing with Avedon, I think what you probably saw was his work from the American West, and that does feel like Americana because it is. But he's had a long history of just working with celebrities and fashion, Vogue, and so on. So yeah, he was a big deal. So anyway, but there's a lot of newer photographers that are really doing some nice stuff now.
Sure, yeah. Go out there just about anywhere and get some nuggets of insight and influence from people out there. I know that you had talked about some of your ad work, and it took you to interesting places. Have those kind of festered or just continue to grow in the way that you want to photograph subjects?
Well, it's advertising industry, you're just out there as a vendor basically, and you have to, compete for every job and you compete for every budget and so on and so forth. And so it's consequently, I had an opportunity to just work in virtually every aspect of commercial photography on some level for some period of time. And so, you learn people skills, you learn patience when doing, large format studio still lives and so on. So what it's done is given me it's sort of like a sampling of virtually anything you can shoot. And so now I'm not that excited about doing selling Coca-Colas or whatever the heck we're doing. But at the same time, it's given me a lot of abilities to now use that knowledge and do it for what's something that pleases me and hopefully please a few other people. So if I can continue to do this, I'm going to be very jazzed. And I'm still working commercially too, but not with as many clients.
Sure, I think I was looking over your website, and even though you say you were kind of had an agenda or something with those clients, there is quite a bit of storytelling going on. Maybe not so much photojournalistic, but almost action, reality, touching sort of photos.
The educational, the prestigious schools, private schools around the country doing that stuff. So they have really rich environment. It's incredible, some of these places. And so I just spent a lot of time as a fly on the wall, and just waiting for things to happen, so on and so forth. It's a very intense day of shooting because you've got to walk away with a lot. Digitally, it's made it a lot easier. Not easier, just
different.
more things to choose from at the end of the
Yes,
day.
I think instead of spending time up front, you kind of spend it more at the back end.
Well, and the other thing is that, so having said all that, my goal is to just slow it all down, shoot fewer images that are thoughtful, and pretending I have a 4x5 view camera in front of me instead of something smaller. But so it's been very interesting and exciting to do it. So I'm happy to have an outlet for some of these images, and also some of the things I would consider fine art that I've done in my career but never saw the light of day. Maybe they're on my wall, but so those are valid images as well, and so we're going to trot those out too.
So you certainly feel different about showing your work for ad purposes versus your own personal collection.
Right, it's very different than when you say, well, can you shoot this, and you get into this corporate thing, and you say, well, no, I need a purchase order. It's like, it's very different now, and I'm ready to do it in a little bit different way. Do that, but do more for myself. And I think it's going to make the journey more exciting.
If you don't mind, I got something off of your website, and I had to share it with a few people here. It says, "My portraits are not about me or my style, but about the subjects and unique qualities and conditions that define their lives at the time that they are photographed." And I really feel like you're taking someone on a journey, a snapshot in time, maybe even to a life that you don't expect to see.
That happens. It's successful portraiture, and I'm not talking about family portraits for Easter, but things that they need to dig down a little bit and hopefully expose a little bit of the inside, and that's what makes it either successful or not successful. But the thing for me is that you can do an incredible photograph of Michael Jordan or whatever for advertising, and that's advertising. Doesn't make it not even. This can still be fine art, but if it shouldn't be too slick, in my opinion. It needs to be more organic and feel real.
Natural.
And so in advertising, we're always simulating reality for the most part. So anyway.
So where do you see your photographic journey going, if you see it going in a particular direction?
I haven't been doing a lot of studio work since I've been here, and I miss it. So I'll be doing some of that, and I'll continue to do commission portraits, and my personal some landscape work, and even some studio stuff that's just going to be still life, not just going to be, but will be. So I'm just going to do the whole realm. I'm not looking for one cabinet to pull from.
Very good. Well, why don't we go ahead and look at some of the photographs that you decided to share with us today? I know we narrowed it down to 3. I'm sure you have quite a few more in your catalog, but here we are.
This was a commissioned image that was shot several years ago, about 2019 or 20. And I was doing a campaign for the state, not for the state, for a company that was representing the state, of individuals and families that were coveed by Medicaid. And that's, if those that don't know what Medicaid versus Medicare, Medicaid is for lower income folks that need help in every direction. And so in New Mexico, there's a large Native American population, and those folks are the Native American. The child and the man are both from Acoma Pueblo, and we photographed them on location with that's available light, and that's just a fairly worn mobile home doorway that they're sitting in. And it was very interesting to me because I didn't know the family, but I had to gain their trust. And it turns out that the child is not his. That's his grandchild. So the guy is very young and young looking. So I thought that was interesting. And they look exactly the same if you look at them feature wise. And
They do.
I just thought it was a really poignant and nice mood and truth. And so that's that.
Yeah, I guess you don't always expect to go on assignments or projects and have to dig to a different level of emotion to be able to photograph someone. You know, you could set up a studio, lighting, and
Yeah.
everything's perfect, but this is certainly takes you out of your comfort zone.
Not really. I mean, because I've done people, and so basically, the worst is not the worst. The most challenging generally is like a chief executive officer for a corporation. Go say, okay, you've got him for 7 minutes, you know, and he's got a handler there, and hopefully you have your lighting right, and so on and so forth. You talk as fast as you can, you shoot as fast as you can. And, okay, that was good. So it's a pressure cooker,
I see.
and the last thing you want to do is anger the CEO. So anyway.
Good lesson there.
Yeah.
Well, let's look at your second image here.
That's a recent image. I shot that in actually the beginning of the month. My wife and I went to the coast of Alabama, and what's interesting, this area is a little place called Fairhope, Alabama. It's a beautiful little community, and if you were to walk to the right in that photo, about 75 yards, the Gulf of Mexico is right there. And so it's just hard to believe that that's there. But I don't know, the lighting was right and so on and so forth. And I just spent a little bit of time, and maybe that was 10 minutes or whatever to shoot. And I'm very happy with that.
It reminds me a bit of I believe it was a photograph you had in the Conroe Art League gallery in April, right, in New Mexico. There's kind of a scenery with a lake reflection.
Yeah.
So always make for such gorgeous shots, especially in black and white.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at the third image here.
And this is a real departure from the others. That was a studio shot, and it was a time when I was doing some stuff and working with light painting. And so that was shot on a 4x5 view camera in a darkened studio, and all the light is added. That's about maybe a 2-minute exposure, painting light from various and sundry parts of that. And it was just sort of fun, and it's tedious, but it's fun. And,
Sure.
but you don't know what you have until you get your film back the next day. So
All kinds of
Polaroids help,
surprises.
but anyway.
Have you done any painting outdoors with flashlights or strobes or anything?
No, I have not done that. I've done it maybe to some degree on certain architectural shots where you just needed to fill in an area or whatever,
Yeah.
but not to do that. The studio, it makes it a lot more interesting.
Okay, very nice. So are you showing your work anywhere?
Yes, around the corner, Conroe Art League. Yeah, for the first, and that's the first time I've shown ever. And so I was in twice, and one piece did get into the whatever the little stage thing is. So
Okay.
yeah. So anyway, it's all new to me, but it's exciting.
It is. It's a nice journey, and sometimes you can feel a little vulnerable putting that stuff out there. But
No, I don't feel vulnerable. When you have art
You're
directors
past
in your lifetime, you've heard it all. You have thick skin. So anyway.
So have you had some awards in the past that have kind of helped you feel more secure about your
You know, it's
direction?
funny you should ask that because you go through a period in your life in the photographic life you do in commercial. That all you want to do is shoot for awards, for awards. You want to be, the next Nike and blah blah blah, and that's valid or whatever. And then you get to a point and say, I just don't.
Who am I doing this
I'm not
for?
changing the world
Yeah.
by getting this. So, but no, I've got, advertising wise in New Mexico, I did a lot of work and had a good reputation for the quality of the work we were doing. We got rewarded for it, awarded and rewarded. So that was good. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you're definitely on a journey to depart from where what you photographed in the past and what you plan to photograph in the future.
Well, I can't really say that because I really like to work for these people because they like to write checks and such. So that's valuable. But
Not
I'm
to
just,
shun
I'm
them
just,
completely.
No. It's because I still enjoy the work that I do. I'm just saying that now I have this. I can work for myself on a great more time to devote to that, and so it's the best of both worlds as far as I'm concerned.
And as far as your kind of opinion or impression on color versus black and white, do you feel strongly from one towards the other?
Not really. I do a lot of color work, and when you're standing in front of or standing and seeing an incredible sunset, whatever it is, this lighting, and just say nope, I'm just going to have some grays and some blacks and some whites, and learning how to make that work and knowing when to see it, when you make that decision, is vital. So I'm very comfortable with both.
Yeah, that's nice. Well, as far as social media or website, do you have any of those?
I have a website. I post. I'm probably going to reintroduce myself to Instagram, but I've basically been posting on LinkedIn for a couple of years now, and the reason I do that is because I know that a lot of my corporate clients and agencies use that, and so it's a little different venue for this, but I wasn't doing it for more than anything other than having a presence and enjoying what I did and seeing what good way of testing whether you're doing anything well or not, so but I'm going to expand that again more.
And that is Michael Barley for LinkedIn.
So michaelbarleyphoto.com is my website.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very well. Well, people can check you out there,
Okay.
and hopefully see more of your work at the Conroe Art League.
You will. You will.
We appreciate your time to see more of Michael's work, as well as the work of the other artists at the Conroe Art League. Please visit us at the best little art gallery in historic downtown Conroe at 127 Simonton Street. We are open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Join us at the gallery where we live by our creed: create, appreciate, learn.